Hi, Gail. How are you?
I'm good, Josh. Thanks so much for talking to me today.
No, well, thank you so much for taking the time, particularly about a family film, which I just thought was so fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
And I wanted to start off by asking, obviously, this is a well-known franchise, and there
Yes.
have been remakes of remakes in the past. But when you're approaching the film, I think 15 years on since the last one,
Mhm.
does that factor into your thought process at all? Particularly as I think being a kid these days has changed so much since
Yeah.
whenever the last film was.
Well, one thing we really took into account was not just how being a kid has changed, but really how being a family has changed and what families look like now. And the idea that it's not blood that makes a family, but love. And just the notion of parents and step parents and adopting and taking in family members who are having a hard time and biological kids too, how just this collection of people who seem so different are just as tightly bonded as like the Steve Martin Bonnie Hunt family that was 12 biological children. And the other thing we did feel about kids is yes, we show TikTok and yes, we show kids on their phones, but we really wanted to keep that really fun, loving vibe of family movie nights and family games and drag races and all going to the pool together and playing pranks on each other. We just really wanted to keep that alive to say like, hey, it's not all right here on your phone, it's also here with your family.
Yeah, I really loved that. And I also love that as funny as this film is, it does tackle some serious subjects,
Mhm.
like obviously Paul's place as a father to an interracial family and what that means for obviously Gabrielle's character as well. So was that something that was already part of this project when you joined, or was it something you really wanted to focus in on when you did sign on to direct?
That was already part of the film. Kenya Barris and Jenny Genzik, who wrote the film, Kenya created Blackish. Jenny and I were on the first. I think I was there for 6 years. She was there for 4. The idea of doing a family comedy with social commentary was really already baked into this film. It was definitely what attracted it to me. I love the Steve Martin version, and I think it's just this iconic classic. And I thought, well, if we're doing a new one, let's do something different. Let's offer something new. So I love that we had the chance to do that.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. And Zach and Gabrielle, they are just so terrific together in this
Aren't
film.
they?
The chemistry is just amazing. So I am curious, what was it for you about each of them that really made them perfect to bring this couple to life?
Well, it's so funny that you ask that. Zach and Gab talk a lot in their press junkets about playing good cop, bad cop. Where Zach, who, as someone who doesn't have kids, he was just like, look at all these kids, let's play. And Gab was the one who was like, let's keep everybody focused. And she was a ton of fun with the kids too, but she was the more grounding one that I think when you're a parent, you would just organically remember if you wind these kids up, it's going to be really hard when Gail says action to get them to have controlled chaos versus chaotic chaos. So it was just fun to see that. Like Zach just got to indulge all his playful dad vibes and Gab did too, but she's really the North Star of the family who really, when he's losing sight and wants more money and more ambition and a bigger house and private school, I love that she supports his dream and goes along with it, but that she's also the one who says, it's not actually working for us. She's not one of those naysaying moms who says no from the beginning or crosses her hands or, wags her finger. She really is a great partner. And she's a good enough partner that she also knows when to say, this isn't right.
Absolutely. And finally, I have to give credit to the kids in this film. Obviously, too
Right.
many to name, but they are all just fantastic. But for
Yes.
you as a filmmaker, what were the biggest challenges, would you say, of working with so many, obviously, different ages and different experiences with acting as well?
I'd say the biggest challenge is simply the fact that to protect kids, depending on your age, you're allowed to work for a different window of time each day. So between all our kids, it felt like at every moment we were losing someone new. So we were shooting in an order that we could keep everyone going. There were so many challenges just temporally to keep in mind. And there's an expression, it comes from Cinderella, where these kids have to leave the minute the clock hits. It's called pumpkining. And so people would be saying all day long, he's pumpkining, she's pumpkining, they're pumpkining. And it was like Halloween, the holiday, not the horror film. But just
Oh,
hearing the word pumpkining shouted around was just, it was funny, but it was such a reminder of like the clock is ticking on these children.
amazing. Well, Gail, like I said, thank you so much for taking the time. I really do think this is the perfect family film, and I cannot wait for the world to see it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. So nice to talk to you.
You too. Have a great day.
You too.